Hi, welcome to this intermediate advanced level hypopressive or low pressure fitness class. We're going to be using a soft ball. Maybe use a harder yoga tune-up ball if you want. And also, if you have a foam roll, doesn't have to be quite this long. We're going to be utilizing that for some of our beginning mobilization work, and then we'll get into the hypopressives and flow. So we're going to begin on our back today. So go ahead and come down onto your back into hook line. And we're just going to begin with some of our pelvic blocks and a little bit of abdominal continence mobility. All this tissue needs to be able to move. It's basically the front of our back. And especially if we've had any abdominal surgeries or oftentimes big falls, car accidents, could cause some restrictions in mobility, basically in our gut or abdominal cavity. So we're going to use our clock, 12 at the top, 6 at the bottom, 3 and 9 on the sides, to kind of rock a little bit. But I want you to first start by kind of cupping your hands like you're going to put them around a kid-sized ball onto your tummy. If you can go ahead and get on your skin, that's best. So you're going to be under the rib cage and inside those hip bones and above the pubic bone. And you're just going to give a little squeeze, like you were sort of gently cupping around all of that, your gut, basically. And then you're going to feel what happens to that. You can kind of slide it down to 6, up to 12, over to 3 and 9, and even up and down on the diagonals. And I want you to decide which of those directions or numbers feels the most limited or restricted. I just kind of probably down to sort of toss it between up and down, but I'm going to work on a diagonal down to about 7. So I want you to just engage that tissue barrier. Just give a little push. Don't yank on the tissue, but just kind of go right up to where you sort of start to feel a little resistance. And then holding that resistance, we're going to do a little rocking of that clock. So now we're just rocking our pelvis up to 12, down to 6. So we're kind of flattening the low back and then rolling towards the tailbone and arching the back a little bit. We're not lifting our bottom up off the mat. And if you feel some loosening, like a little bit of slack coming in, and you can just follow that slack and keep rocking. And then you can play with rocking in different directions. Try 3 to 9, tension on, different diagonal. Just kind of play around with that. Good. Okay, now I want you to pick one other direction, maybe the second most tight. And we're going to do the same thing. We're just going to gently take up the slack. We're not pulling hard or creating any pain, just putting a little tension on that tissue, and then we're using the clock to kind of loosen that up. As we feel the tissue kind of loosen or give, then we kind of follow it into the slack. Move through a little bit more. Like I said, this is really great if you have any surgical scars. And you might still notice some tightness in different areas even if you've never had abdominal surgery. Good. Now we're going to move up to the thoracic spine or rib cage. You have a choice. You could use your squishy ball. It might be this big or even a little bit bigger. And place it around, probably around the bra line. Your head a little support and just lean back over that ball. Alternatively, if you don't have the ball, you can also use the foam roll. Foam roll is probably a little bit bigger and it's going to be a firmer pressure. So if you have sensitivity on the back on those spinous processes, this may feel a little more intense. And you may not reach all the way to the ground. This is also an option. I'm going to go with the smaller one today. This feels a little bit easier to relax into. Kind of guarding against that foam roll because it's such an intense arch. Good. So once you feel like you're able to relax a little bit, now see if you can breathe into those front and sides of the ribs, opening that chest up a little bit more. And then exhaling. And now take your hands from behind your head if you're able to let it relax. If you're on the foam roll and you can't, then you can keep supporting your head and neck. I don't want it just hanging there. And you can do some rotations. But if you're able to bring your hands down to your rib cage here, then let's just slide our fingers underneath those ribs along that border. Looking for any sticky spots. And for me, it's much tighter, closer to the top and the center. So I'm going to come to the left side and use both hands just a little more focus, sinking in there. You can rock your knees side to side a little bit to loosen that area up. Breathe in, and as you exhale, you can sink a little bit deeper into that tissue like it's looks like it's melting under your fingertips. So now let's come to the other side. We use a little rock with the knees, do a little pelvic walk. So breathing in, exhaling, letting those fingers sink in, letting it melt. Good. Now let's take the arms up to high Venus. Tuck the chin. Reach the fingers long while we've got this mobility ball back there. As long as that feels like a stretch and not painful. Shouldn't have any numbness or tingling coming into your hands. Sweep the arms up and back down. And then let's reach them up. So you can keep them on the floor as you come all the way up overhead to keep your hands. Exhale. And bring the arms back down. Good. Roll off that ball. Ooh, let's come onto our back here. Do a little bit of pelvic rocking. And then let's just do a free breath cycle and an apnea here. Not in any particular pose. We're just going to work that rib cage a little bit. So breathing in. When you're ready, exhale. I'm gonna go through 3 breaths here. I'm almost second. Be working into that last breath. Here you can really just focus on the wrists, not doing anything else to the body. Gently exhale and when you're ready, close those out. Open the wrists to the out. See if you can gently keep opening the wrists. A little bit at a time. Exhale as you need to. Very good. All right, we're going to try something a little bit different. Not done in one of the classes. Only do this if you feel comfortable. You would not do this if you were pregnant. Maybe you had a newer abdominal surgical scar. But if you have the soft ball, then what we're going to do is come on to our stomach here and do a little more mobilization for our belly and even our psoas muscle or front hip flexor. So only do this if you're able to make this simply comfortable for yourself. You're going to place the ball inside the hip bone, probably below the level of the belly button. And then if you're able, you're going to lay down and allow yourself to kind of sink onto that ball. It shouldn't feel sharp or pushy. It should be a gentle stretch. It's going to be a little more intense if you have a yoga tune-up ball. And just kind of work around, maybe find where it feels like you need a little bit of work, where it's a little bit tighter. And then if you're able to, bend the knee on the side that you have the ball and let it gently, let your foot gently rock side to side, kind of like a metronome. We're just noticing what that does for helping release that tissue in the front. You can also just straighten and bend if that alone creates increased tension or release as you bend the knee up. You do a little bit of both. Good. And then if you're feeling comfortable, I want you to bring that leg out to the side, kind of like a frog. And then trying to leave your bottom down, don't let it pop up a lot. See if you can slide that knee up and then back down. Very good. Now, let's pop up. We're going to take the ball to the other side. You might feel more comfortable turning your head that direction. And then as you're able, sink onto the ball. You need to support yourself with your arms a little bit if you can. And just kind of wiggle around on the balls. You can find the spot that's not painful, but feels like there's a little release. All right, and then as you're able, bend and straighten the knee on that side. Notice what that does. Usually when we bend your knee up, we get a little bit more fully into back extension, and that might increase the stretch. And you can also let the knee fall side to side. Good. And then if you're able to take the knee out to the side, try sliding it up without letting your bottom pop up a lot. So good. All right, now, you could use that ball, but I think what would work better is if you have a FOMO. We're going to come onto our side. We're going to continue this mobilization. We've done a lot for the belly. We did some of the ball for belly and psoas. We're going to keep coming down now into these adductors. This is an area sometimes we forget about that can get tight. And all of these muscles and fascia are continuous up into our pelvic floor and even our abdominal region. So this is a nice place to do a little bit of mobility, especially if you're having any kind of stuff going on with the pelvic floor. So we're going to be in side lying with the leg bent, starting at the knee. This can feel quite sensitive at times, so just do what you're able to do. And we're going to roll forward on that hip. And I want you to try to get all the way up to the groin if you're able. You may have to kind of follow that femoral out of it. Okay, don't make yourself miserable with this. You're kind of looking around for more tender spots, but we're not trying to hurt ourselves. You can play with the angle of your knee, up or down. You can also straighten the knee. We've got one adductor that crosses the knee. And you can put a little more tension on that one. Change up what you're feeling. You can also rotate. Find a tight little spot. You can rotate that foot up and down. Work on it just a little bit. That's a little more intense. That feels good. All right, let's switch to the other side. You can just roll over, facing away from your computer, or you can flip sides. Same thing. Rolling out, seeing if you can get the tissue all the way down to the knee and all the way up into that groin. Good, straighten the knee. Play around with that. You don't want to go through the full range of motion. If you find a spot that really want to work on, you can just stay there and work in a smaller range. And a little rotate. Find a good spot. Good. Okay. Now here we are on our side. Let's bend our knees. Support our arm here, and let's do some arm circles and get into a little bit of thoracic rotation here. We already worked the extension piece with the ball. So as you're rotating, you're letting your head look behind. You're seeing if you can keep your fingers on the floor. You don't want a lot of pinch coming into the shoulder. And you can also reverse that to see how that feels. Really good. Okay, let's switch sides. Make those circles as big as you can. Oh, I'm getting just tighten the spot of my knee up. That's okay. Good. Okay. Let's place our hand on top of our rib cage here. And we're going to practice a few breaths into this side that is up here. So once you're breathing in, and you should feel your hand rise up towards the ceiling and towards your head. And then exhale. As you exhale, follow the ribs down with your hand. Almost like you're giving gentle, gentle pressure to help push the air out very gently. Keep that pressure on as you breathe in again. So we're breathing in against our own resistance here. And let yourself come up. Exhale. Follow those ribs down. Breathe in against a little bit of resistance from your hand, but let those ribs win. Exhale. Good. Let's hold our breath here. Open those ribs up again for an apnea. Very good. Now let's take the legs long. We're going to try something a little bit different today. We're going to do a sequence here. And unlike Celine, we're not going to cross our legs. We're going to dorsiflex our feet. I want you to reach that top leg so that your feet are even. Okay? You make it a little space between your waist and the floor when you do that. We're going to keep one arm here for our head. Good. And I want us to take one arm up towards the ceiling if we can. If you need to keep it here to keep it from rolling, that's also fine. I want you to breathe in. Exhale. On the exhale, I want you to raise the arm up to, the leg to about hip height. Breathe in again. Good. Exhale, focusing on the length of the low back and reaching the fingers towards the ceiling. Holding that leg there. Good. One more breath. Exhale. The bottom of this breath. When you're ready, you're going to prepare the apnea. Close nose, throat, and mouth, and open your ribs. Good. Breathe in and let that go. Bring the leg down and the arm down. Very nice. Come onto your back. That was a little bit of work for that glute. So cross your leg over your knee. Do a little finger floor stretch. Give that back of the head. Good. A little left. Good. You can roll over to your other side or flip sides. Do the same on the other side here. So working some hip abduction, strength and endurance while we do our apnea. So straighten the legs, dorsiflex the feet, pull the toes towards you. See if you can get in a straight line. So when you look down, you shouldn't see your whole foot. You should probably just see maybe just your toes. Reach that top leg so it's even with the bottom leg. You're going to feel a little space in your waist. Breathe in. Exhale. Take that top leg up to about hip height, maybe a little higher. Good. Breathe in again. Feel stable. Take that top arm up. Reaching towards the ceiling. Exhale. Good. We're going to do one more breath here. Checking in that low back is lengthened. Exhaling, everything going long. When you're ready, hold your breath. Create the apnea. Breathing in, exhaling, coming down. Good. Onto our back, we get a little stretch for that posterior hip. Very good. Okay, we're going to come up to standing. I'm going to do a little rock to come up to sitting. You can also roll onto your side. And we're going to come on up. Okay, let's do a little warm up for our arms. Let's bring the arms down into low Venus. And as we breathe in, we're going to scoop the shoulders down and take them up overhead. And then breathe in. Breathe in again. Breathe on up at the top. Exhale and just flex your head forward. Put some space between your chin and your chest. Bring the head back up. And the arms back down. Good. Now let's come into a low Athena here. Remember, our hands are wide, about shoulder width apart. Glide the shoulders away from the ears, elbows pressing to the opposite walls, hands kind of pressing towards the floor. We're going to breathe in and just work isolating that rotation up and down. You can decide how far you're able to go with each breath. We're breathing in and we're really working on just the shoulder rotating and not the trunk. And then breathing in at a comfortable pace for you. Bring the arms up on the breath in. Really good. Let's move into some Venus. So feet are hip distance apart, soft bend in the knee. Drop that tailbone gently, release tension through the lower back. Check in that you're stacked on top. Lengthen the back of your head up towards the ceiling. We're going to begin in a low Venus. Arms can be a little bit in front. If you're able to bring them out to the side, that's great. But if it's too much tension, just in front and gazing ahead. We'll move into some flow. So we're going to breathe in here. Exhale. Breathe in again. And exhale, bring the arms up to mid-Venus. Another breath. Breathing in. Exhaling at the bottom here. Close nose, throat, and mouth. Breathe apnea. As you're opening the ribs, take the arms up, scooping into high Venus in your apnea. Breathe in as you need to. Exhale. Keep reaching long. We've got a little axis forward over. Hold those arms up. Breathe in one more time. Exhale. We're going to do one more apnea here. Hold your breath. Open the ribs. As you're opening, reach the crown of the head towards the floor, lifting through the back of the spine, keep space between the chin and the chest. Breathe in as you need to. Bring the arms down and the head back up. Very good. Low Athena. Check in with your low back. Slightly from the ankle here. Breathing in. Exhale. Bring the arms up to mid Athena, pressing wide. Good. Breathing again. Exhale, left arm comes down, right arm comes up. Asymmetric Athena, elbows pushing away from each other. Another breath in. Exhale. At the bottom here, hold your breath. Breathe the apnea. Breathing in. Exhale. We're going to do one more apnea here. We're going to switch the arms. Breathing in. Exhale. Hold your breath. Open the ribs. Rotate the arms. Opposite arm goes up. Opposite arm goes down. Breathing in. Exhale. Both arms come to low Athena. Good. We're going to come to our side here. I want you to take one leg, let's do right leg back. Good. And we're going to drop down to asymmetric aura. If you want a knee pad for your knee, you can do that. Square up the hips. Connect the left hand with the top left knee. Take the right arm up towards high Athena. So you've got a long stretch through the right side, tucking that tailbone, keeping the low back long, eyes facing forward, breathing in. Exhale. Everything growing long. Check in with that neck, elbows pressing away from each other. Breathing in. Exhale. Growing tall at the bottom. Hold your breath. Open the ribs. Breathing in as you need to. Bring the arms to mid Athena. One more breath. Breathing in. Exhale. Turn just the sternum to the left. Keeping the arms in your same circle. Breathing in. Exhale. Hold your breath. Open the ribs. Creating apnea. Come back to the center. Good. Exhaling. Bring your arms down onto your thigh so you can press back up to standing. Good. Breathing in, and now we're going to come into a widened leg position. So feet are going to be wider than hip distance apart. Place your feet where they feel comfortable. If you can place them straight forward, great. If you need to turn them out a little bit, great. We're going to soften the knees. As you soften the knees, think about keeping the pelvis in that neutral position, working the hip rotators to keep the knees over the toes. So as you bend, don't let them fall in. Keep it out here. Don't let that rotation out tip you back. Fight to keep that neutral pelvic position. Arms up to mid Venus. Breathing in. Exhale, opening the arms wide. Good. Breathing in again. We're really challenging our pelvic floor here. If my legs open a little bit wider. Exhaling. Last breath in. Exhale. At the bottom here. Hold your breath. Use nose through the mouth. Create the apnea. Bring those arms up to high. Breathing in. Exhaling, bringing the arms down. Very good. Now we're going to switch. Actually, we're not going to switch. We're going to come back, face it this way. Okay. Now our right leg, whichever leg was not up before is up now. We're going to drop down into that asymmetric aura. Bottom leg is fighting, squeezing the glute, keeping the front of the hip long, low back elongated. Square up the hips as best you can. If you need something under your knee, prop that up there. Right hand is going to go onto the right knee. Left arm is coming up into high Athena. We're doing a lot of lengthening, fascial stretching through this down leg all the way up into the arm, eyes gazing ahead. Breathing in. Exhale. More breaths here. Exhale. Make sure you have some weight through that front leg. Last breath. The bottom of that exhale. Hold your breath. Open the lips. Exhale. Bring the arms to mid-Athena. Another 2 breaths on the breathing in. Exhale, really opening that fluid. Keeping it properly, keeping the neck long. Last breath, and again Athena. Exhale. Major apnea. Turn the sternum to the up leg. The circle intact. Breathe in as you need to. Exhale. Rotate back to the center. Very good. Okay, hands on the leg here. Let's come down to both knees on the floor. Good. And we're going to come down into hands and knees. And we're just going to do a little break in our flow for a little cat-cow here. Okay. Good. Release your toes there for a little break, and let's just do kind of a relaxed cat-cow. We're just going to let the head grow. Push that back up towards the stretch. Reverse that and drop it down. The ribcage drop between the shoulder blades. Belly really dropping to the floor. Up. A little stretch back towards child's pose. And pulling ourselves back up. And keep going a little further than the hands. Give the wrists a little stretch. Tuck the toes if you didn't have them tucked. Press back for a little bit more of a foot stretch there. Good. And come back to the center. Very good. Let's leave our hands neutral here. And just give our neck a little chance to lengthen in this position. We're not quite in Gaia yet. We're gonna make it just a little bit easier in the way. So, but we're still pushing actively with the hands and trying to slide our hands apart. These are tough, so we have a little push through there so the back of our body is active. And we've got weight through the knees, but also through the hands. Breathing in. We have a chance here to really feel the back of the body expand with breath. Exhale. On the exhale, allow the crown of the head to start reaching towards the floor. So you still have space between the chin and the chest. And your gaze should start coming towards the belly button. Breathing in again. Exhale. At the bottom of this exhale, good breath. Looking over. Exhaling. Bringing yourself down onto your elbows now. Hands on the mat. Now your head doesn't have to be as flexed. It's coming right off of your body. Your head is looking between your elbows. Pushing through your elbows, widening the elbows, reaching that trunk. Weight should be slightly shifted forward, knees under your hips. Breathing in. Exhale. Second breath. Exhaling. Do our apnea. Do a second breath. The bottom. Most open mouth. Try to slowly open the lips. Slowly, slowly, slowly. And when you feel like you're done, see if you can go a little bit more. Pushing through all your extremities to get that ribcage all the way open. Lifting that belly up. Exhale. Good. If you can do this with your shoulders, we're really working with shoulders. So we're going to come down into ice. Arms extended. So take each arm out in front as if you're in a high Venus. Forehead is just going to touch the mat. All of the weight is through your hands and arms. They're pushing into the floor, and the opposite corners, your head is just balanced on the floor. Breathing in. Exhale. One more breath. Exhale. Hold your breath. Open the ribs. Pushing through the arms. Keep opening. Breathing in. Good. Tipping back onto those heels and bringing your arms back in close. Giving them a little break here. Drop a little bit, loosening up that back and hips. Good. From here, cross our ankles. Good. So we're down in this kind of tucked position. I want you to breathe in here. On the exhale, press, bring your hands in, press yourself back and over to sitting. Very good. We're going to be working in sitting, Hestia here. So if you want your yoga block approved for improved hip mobility, you can get it. I'm actually going to stay sideways here. From here, we're going to move into meter and a little bit of, see how much time. Legs are crossed. Feet are dorsiflexed. Okay, the poop, if you need it, it's going to help you keep your pelvis stacked on top with just a little bit of this, just a little bit of axis forward. Lengthening through the back of the head. Lower feet or arms will connect with the legs. When you push the elbows out and the hands into the legs, feel the support that gives you for lifting the trunk and really creating more space between that lower rib cage and the pelvis. Breathing in. Exhale. We're going to do a 2-breath cycle here with support from the arms. Breathing in. Exhale. Just the air from the bottom up. The bottom. Hold your breath. Breathing the apnea. Try to slowly lift. Over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Breathing in. Exhale. Bring the arms up to the finger. In. Exhale. Shoulders sliding away from the ears and out. Breathe in again. Connect. On this exhale, we'll create the apnea. Rotate our spine. On. Hold your breath. Create the apnea. Good. Rotate the sternum. Keep finger loop intact. Rotate it to the left. Majority to the right. That hip glute down. Breathing in. Exhaling back to the center. Breathe in again. Exhale. Everything reaching tall and wide. The bottom. Create the apnea. Rotate the sternum to the opposite side. Keep that loop intact. Hip down. Breathing in. Exhaling. Coming back. Arms come back down to your thighs. Good. We're going to work on our transition here. So take your poop or your yoga block out. Hands are out by your side. Legs come down into low Demeter. Think about your spine staying long here. Breathe in. Good. Exhale. We're going to create an apnea. In that apnea, glide the hands out. Keep yourself long. Slowly lower all the way down and relax your head. Release the apnea. Very good. Just on your mat if you need to. We're here in Demeter. Toes are flexed up, pushing out through the heels. Let's do palm. Let's do palm up. Low Venus. Really check in with your shoulder blades. Open them wide. Press the hands gently into the floor. Check in with your neck. Is it lengthened? Check in with your rib cage. Are you keeping it in line with your trunk or is it popping up? Breathing in. Exhaling. Really feeling all of yourself in contact with the floor, whichever parts are touching. Second breath. Exhaling. On this breath. Close your nose toward the mouth and then leave the apnea. Breathing in. Exhaling, bringing the arms to mid-apnea. Good. Breathe in again. Exhale, press that right heel a little harder into the ground. Reach the left heel towards the ceiling. Connect the right arm to the left leg. Breathe in. Widen the shoulders. Exhale. One more breath here. Breathe in. Exhale. Hold your breath at the bottom. Open your lips. Take the left arm towards your head behind you. Breathing in. Exhale. Bring both arms to mid-apnea. Left leg goes down. Breathing in. Exhale. Push that left heel in. And the right up. Connect it to the left hand. Breathing in. Exhale. Holding here. One more breath for the apnea. Exhale. Breathe out. Right arm goes up towards the ceiling. Goes behind you. Breathing in, exhale, arms to mid-apnea. Leg comes down. Let's bring the arms down to the floor. Bring the heels in towards your bottom and widen, wider than the hips. Let's give the ankles just a little circle here. Good. Press through the heels again. Hands are going to come up to high penis. So kind of creating a big X here. Lengthen through the head and neck. Check in that your ribs do not jump off of the floor as you're reaching the arms long. Push through the feet. Breathing in. For an Aphrodite here. Exhaling. Breathing in. And exhale. Press the hips up. Back long. Up the bottom. Close your nose toward the mouth. Open the ribs. You're going to stay here. Keep pushing through your glutes. Let's do another breath here. Breathing in, keeping that back long. Exhale. We're going to create the apnea up here. We'll lower down. Take your breath. Open the ribs. Lower down. Keeping that back long. Very good. Bring your arms back down. Bring one knee up towards the chest. Just circle that ankle around. Counterclockwise, clockwise. Switch legs. Little circles. Very good. Down. Legs reached out straight behind us, hands by our side. Done a lot of intentional reaching and breathing. Just going to take a few moments here to just sink into the floor. And just quietly breathe. Laying here, just see if you can notice. Notice with intention how your body feels on the floor. Where the breath wants to go. Allow your body and your breath just be right where they are. Draw your heels up, roll onto your side. Slowly press up to sitting. And up to sit. Very good. Thanks so much for joining.